Welcome to Small Town Snarks. I'm Joel.
And I'm Miranda. Let's get snarky.
Celebration.
Let's all celebrate and have a good time.
It's time to come together. Everyone around. Come on. We're back.
We're back.
We're celebrating.
Yeah.
And it is the coldest day ever.
Yeah, I'm using my jacket as a blanket right now.
I'm wearing every layer of clothing that I own currently. That's not accurate, but it's pretty close. Hey everybody.
Hey, we've done 50 of these.
This is it. This is it. We're done. The end is near.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it while it lasted. We're never going to talk again.
No, this is it. You know, you thought we were going to catch up, but we're never catching up. We're done.
Yeah.
Just 50 just seemed like a nice round number to just call it quits.
Quit while we're ahead.
Exactly. No, we're here and we've got lots of reflecting to do and chit chat and all the good things. But I guess, why don't we just get started with where we're at right now as far as just like life and shows and stuff?
Well, we're expecting a big storm.
Big storm.
A big storm.
Like, biggest storm in 10 years in like 16 hours.
What's your biggest pet peeve about how people respond to storms? Because I can't stand people bulk buying all the toilet paper and the bread and whatever.
I was actually just having this conversation yesterday with someone. First off, those of you that don't know me, I hate snow and I hate weather. And then I say that to everybody, and the first thing that people say back to me is, well, you grew up in Maryland. That doesn't mean that I like it.
Right.
Doesn't mean that I like it. So I hate that. I hate cold weather. I hate when it snows. I find it more obtrusive than it is beautiful. Typically, I love in December on like a random Thursday if we can get like 2 inches of snow, and then I'm good. Like a nice sprinkle of snow, and then we're good for the rest of the year. My biggest pet peeve with snow specifically around here is it feels like over the years we have gotten less patient as a society. Mm-hmm. And like, granted, I hate when snow interrupts my plans, but like, there used to be this great mindset of like, oh, it's a snow day and everybody is off work and everybody is at home. And, you know, kids don't go to school and it's just like a fun day. And then, you know, we get back to normal the next day. The pet peeve is the fact that, like, it snows, and then as soon as it's done, people are like, well, I'm getting the heck out of here, and I'm going out to do whatever. And I'm just like,
don't do that.
It's
not worth it.
Right.
Unless you're, like, an essential worker, like, if you're at the hospital or whatever, like,
Well, and I didn't even mention them initially because, you know, in most cases, hospitals have plans in place for that type of stuff. Like, whether it's people staying over or whatever the case may be. But even then, like, yeah, if you're an essential worker, people who are non-essential workers stay out of the way so that way essential workers can get where they need to go safely.
And I'm sorry, fast food is not an essential job. So, like, let your McDonald's employees stay home and not risk their lives to serve people cheeseburgers.
Right. Well, and then it's that mindset of, like, because everybody's going out when, you know, the minute the snow or whatever the bad weather ends, or even while it's still going on, it makes those businesses think that they need to be open. Because they're like, oh, people are out on the street, so we need to be out here to serve them.
But you'll teach them that they shouldn't bother going out if nothing's open.
Right. Yeah, I just hate snow. It could be 65 degrees year round and I would be so content.
I don't mind snow. I think for me it's the way that people respond to snow that annoys me. I mean, I have a long driveway, so that part is annoying. Like, going out and shoveling that is pretty rough. But honestly, like, Pancake loves it. Just get to stay in. I mean, it's hard when you're in a performance-based industry. Like, we're very fortunate that we don't have, like, a performance planned for this weekend because we would have had to cancel. But, which I think Pippin was the end of January. So,
Pippin was the end of January, and the snowstorm last year fell the weekend before Pippin.
Yeah.
And that had its
So
own
that's always
logistics
stressful.
issue. Doing shows this time of year, it's always just a big question mark. And I mean, granted, we're going through that with Joseph right now of like trying to make sure that we get everything in, and we're on a limited time or limited schedule, and it's a lot of moving pieces to have to orchestrate, and we take it in stride, and we get what we need, and we make sure that happens because the show is going to go on.
And also with this weather, because I know your argument of like, let's just, after the holiday show, let's just wait till March or April to do a show. And I get that, but like with the seasonal depression too, I'm like, I'm not doing anything for 4 months.
Yeah.
I'm going to be rough.
That's the other thing that I genuinely despise about this time of year is that, like, at least when it snows and you get bad weather in December, you also have, like, the really pretty lights and everybody's outside and they're all spending time with family and there's so much going on. And then you get to January and it's dark, cold, and depressing.
Right.
Like, there's not, to your point, there's, like, not much to, like, look forward to. Like, you're just kind of, I mean, I've been counting down to spring since like 3 weeks ago. I'm just like at that point, like the snow stuff can end. I'm ready for warmer weather. Bring it back.
See, spring is great and all, but summer's, it's too hot. Unless I'm prepared for it to be hot and I'm like on a vacation or something, when I'm just trying to go to Walmart and my legs are sweaty and I'm sticking to my car seat, I'm angry at everything.
Yeah. I don't know what it was. I mean, we've talked about this before, but like after I spent time in Florida several years ago for like 5 months, I have just gotten to the point where I'm like, that does not bother me anymore. I'm just like, if it's hot, fine. Great, it's warm, I can be outside and I can be enjoying the sun, and granted when it's 110 degrees with 1,000% humidity, that's not ideal, but like I don't see the fun in it being currently 9 degrees outside and I'm wearing 6 layers of coats. I don't buy into that logic. But what can you do? I said to you the other day that until one of us learns how to be Madame Morrible and can stand in a window and change the weather with our wild arm movements, I think we're kind of stuck in this situation. So,
well, or we could go by your logic and just go to Florida every other weekend.
I mean, it's not flawed logic. However, granted, what I'm about to say, it's different than what it is here, but next week it's only supposed to be 50 degrees down there. Granted, it's 50.
Poor thing.
I know, 50 is definitely better than 9.
Yeah, my phone said, feels like -6. And I was like, great.
It goes back to that meme I feel like I see every year of like, why do I live in a place that hurts my face? Like, it's such a good question. The weather is just miserable some days.
Yeah.
So, what can you do?
But we're hanging in there.
Yeah.
What else is new?
Not a whole lot. Like I said, we're knee deep into Joseph rehearsals. Actually, we're like waist high into Joseph rehearsals.
We had an argument, but we made up.
We did, yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. Weather does that to people. There's a lot going on.
It's high stress.
High stress.
Stress.
We're making it happen, but we're better now.
We're doing some costume stuff today.
We are.
They've got like a 4-hour rehearsal or something.
They've got all the choreo.
Crazy.
Yeah. I as I've said before, I'm not a choreo person, and I am so grateful for all of our choreographers because you don't want to see what the show would look like if I choreographed the whole thing.
There'd be a lot of tables, I think.
There'd be a lot of, like, spinning around tables. We were doing a choreography rehearsal the other day, and I make that comment regularly just because I think it's funny. And someone was like, you choreographed War is a Science and Pippin, and that turned out well. And I'm like, yeah, because I could distract everybody with puppets. So
it was also stand up, sit down.
But it was effective.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But yes, yeah. And I was like, thank you. I know where my skill set is, and it's just not choreography. So
I was thinking about, what was I going to say? I think I lost it.
And also, there was a kick line in War is a Science as well.
Oh.
Yeah, so I do want credit for my kick line.
That's true.
Yeah, That's an easy step to teach. Good box step.
Oh,
I love a good box
I remember
step.
what I was gonna say. I saw this TikTok. I need to send it to you. It's so funny. This guy was like, all the middle-aged people getting ready for the community theater productions have come from away, and it's just him like moving around a chair.
I saw that this morning.
He was like, chairs and benches, look out.
Dream show. It's like right up my alley.
Oh yeah.
Lots of chairs and minimal set and perfect score.
Middle-aged people.
Yeah.
You've got it.
I've got it. But yeah, other than that, there's not a whole lot else going on. We're rolling right along here in this blustery January.
Vibing and thriving.
Yeah, thriving's a word. Vibing and surviving.
Vibing and surviving.
Oh, but let's transition. It's 50. And by it, I mean the podcast.
Yes,
It's
baby
50.
snark.
It's not even a day over 35. It doesn't feel like a day over 30. An episode of, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. It's nonsense. The coffee hasn't kicked in. I wanted to take just like a jump back to like the beginning of this process.
Yeah.
To discuss just again why and what our mindset was coming into this. And how you're feeling now that we're at 50. I don't know if you want to start.
Yeah. I mean, part of it for me is I was working a job where my boss at the time was very interested in starting a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd been working with him on that, and there have been a lot of frustration at the time, I think, from both of us, experiencing situations like with other companies or during rehearsals and whatnot, where because we had to maintain this professional environment, like we weren't fully able to ever share our perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And I think part of what's become Small Town Snark was us being able to share those things on our terms. Mm-hmm. And like with the other company I've referred to so many times, there's so many rumors in our small community about what happened mm-hmm. there, and we don't talk about it with people because it's not, they're not here to gossip, they're here to do theater. And mm-hmm. but I've had people ask me about it, and I'm like, well, it's a long story, and I feel there's something very cathartic about like being able to tell the truth mm-hmm. about what happened, like from our perspective, and people can do with that information what they will, but it's nice to be able to have a voice in how that, and a say in how that story is told.
Yeah.
How about you?
I remember you bringing this to my attention, and it's hard to believe that was over a year ago now, the idea of doing a podcast. And I think from my perspective, I was, really excited to kind of shine a light on, no pun intended, but kind of pun intended, shine a light on the work that we do, because I think it's very, when you're in the thick of directing a show and you're in the thick of a production process, it's very hard to have the perspective and understanding of all of the things that someone in the director's chair is dealing with at all times. Like, it's very, like, depending on what your role is in the show, whether you're an actor or you're part of the production team or whatever the case may be, it's very difficult in the moment to think beyond whatever is going on. And I think the unique responsibility that a director has is you don't get the luxury to think about what's happening in front of you. You're thinking about the bigger picture all the time.
Yep.
And I think the thing I was most excited about was to share that experience with everybody. We've had, as everyone has heard up to this point, some really crazy moments, especially in those early years. But I mean, we've crazy moments all the time.
Yeah.
It doesn't change.
That's not going away.
They get unique, and they always manage to surprise us every show with where things go. But
yeah, I think that's the truth.
It's my biggest thing was really having that opportunity and that platform, like you said, to share those stories and express those feelings, so that way people maybe get a better idea as to what exactly we're dealing with, in addition to what they're experiencing at rehearsals or what you're seeing as an audience member. Like, there's a lot that goes into this process. So I was super excited about that. And then, the other point that you made that I really agree with is that it has been such a cathartic experience. In the moment, because things are happening so quickly, it's really difficult to like fully address or like process everything.
Right.
And what I've found, especially with those early years and going through, show by show, stuff that we discuss on the podcast, stuff that you and I discuss in preparation for the podcast episodes, etc. I'm finding myself opening up, I don't want to say issues, but like things that went unresolved because in the moment there wasn't time to really process it. And having this opportunity to like reopen it up and discuss it and, explore from another, like from your perspective, or, when we've had guests on the podcast, explore from their perspective how they felt in those moments. And that's been a really unique way to address and come to terms with those experiences. So I was not anticipating that coming in, but it's been one of the great benefits of this process up to this point.
Well, I think too, we had just talked about this recently, but part of the tough thing about being a director or a boss or a leader is when anything happens that people have a complaint about, it's a complaint to you or about you, whether or not it was in your control or not. And I think being able to talk through these things and also being able to like laugh at our past mistakes and just be like, yeah, that was crazy, has been really helpful for me. But also when you think about it, like community theater is such a unique experience.
Oh my gosh, yes. There's nothing like it.
There isn't. And you're getting all these people together who, have lives outside of this that are all completely unique to them. And they're coming in this room and they're putting on a show together. And when that happens, I mean, there's bound to be like sitcom level conflict and drama and whatever. Because like these people, like some of them will never interact outside of here. Right. Like they're just very different. And
that's also that's also one of my favorite things about just the community theater process is that the number of people that come in through these doors to work on a show, the backgrounds and the experiences and the lives that people have, continue to lead, but have led up to the point of them coming into this space, everybody brings with them their own experiences. Yeah. And I think the thing that always makes me laugh, and I try my hardest, especially with new people that I've never met before that start doing shows with us, to just try and get a little bit of an idea as to like, what do you do outside of here? Right. Because I'm like, if you come in the door and you meet me and you're like, you know nothing about me, you're like, oh, he does theater for a living. And I'm like, I don't. I mean, there's so much more to me than just coming in and doing theater, but to know that there's, everyone just comes in with a common feeling of theater, but we have people that work as lawyers, we have people that work for schools, we have people that work for nonprofits, we've got people working in all sorts of different career fields, blue collar work, just so many different backgrounds. Yeah. All with the same feelings and passions for theater. And that's the beautiful thing about community theater is just everybody comes to the table with their own experiences, but they're all passionate about the same thing. Yeah. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. And I take, great pride in providing this service to the community. I think there's a lot of good in the community, and that's the small town charm, right? I like not the company charm, but like the feel of being in a small town and like doing this with people, and yeah, it's I remember just recently someone that we've worked with for years thought I did this for my job.
Mm-hmm.
Like thought this is what was paying my bills, and I was like, no. Like I also go to work and then I come here. And I think it's one of those things where people who aren't into community theater, they'll look at it and they'll be like, oh, well, they must pay you or something to do that. And it's like, no, I do it because I love it. And like, you know, I just think about tech weeks and how we've had, you mentioned blue collar work, like we've had people who they're rehearsing until 11 p.m. and they got to turn around and get up at 5 a.m. to go to their job. And that's how much it means to them. That's how much it matters that they get to be a part of something with, I mean, frankly, a lot of strangers and get to, you know, create something with them. So it really is like so much more than it appears on the surface.
Yeah, I think the thing that I really love about that aspect too is that we not only provide that opportunity, but, you know, something I actually had a conversation at my job the other day with my boss in reference to this particular idea. And we've talked about this a couple of times, you and I have, about the fact that by doing this, not only is it a great outlet for just, you know, you get to meet so many great people and all that other stuff, but like being in theater and working on theater is such a great creative opportunity that sparks creativity and, you know, positive energy outside of the work that we're doing here. And I feel like that's a piece of this process that people love. Like I find myself outside of, you know, the confines of this space, you know, whether it be podcast or rehearsing or whatever the case may be, I'm more creative because I do this.
Right. Well, you're working those muscles on a regular basis.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's another big piece of it too. And, you know, I find with, you know, this platform in particular, you know, we are finding new ways to communicate and to share these stories, and we're becoming more outspoken. And that, you know, ultimately at the end of the day is so impactful for us too. So I'm really grateful for all of the opportunities that we've had up to this point as far as sharing our stories, gaining experiences from working in community theater, from supporting and leading these shows. I mean, it's just, the benefits are endless.
Yeah. And it is interesting to, like, more and more as people have been listening to the podcast, like, it feels like they have the inside scoop almost, because like people will come up to me and just reference a story that only you and I have talked about, but we've talked about it on here. So it's like they're included in that now. And it's like, at first it's very jarring because I'm like, who told you that? What do you mean? And I'm like, oh, right. I said it on the podcast and you listened to the podcast. But one of my favorite things from the earlier years of STS, but it still happens a lot with like the kids camps because I'm not super involved with them. I love being out in the lobby and like running concessions or tickets and having people have no concept of who I am. Because people just say like whatever in front of me and I kind of like get to hear their thoughts on the show or like get to, you know, and something that's interesting, I'm kind of pivoting this conversation a little bit, but something that's interesting that I've like struggled with a little bit, and I was thinking about this as we were doing the poster design, because you were like, hey, like, can you put directed by Joel Roberson on there? And I was like, yeah. I was thinking about it. I was like, why don't I put like directed by Miranda on posters when I direct them? And then I was at a work lunch and the one of my coworkers was asking me about camps because he's driving his daughter like 40 minutes away for a theater camp and he lives in Westminster. And I was like, oh, we're right here. But the way I phrased it was very interesting because I said, oh, the group that I work with does camps, and like, you know, I can send you the information. I'm like, why am I not taking like credit or ownership over this?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. I was like, I don't know what that means, but yeah, when people ask me, I'm just like, oh yeah, I do theater with this group. That's usually what I say. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting you bring that up. That has been something I've been doing. I want to say, I'm looking at the posters on the wall. I think I started doing that with August Osage County, requesting that be included on there. And it's exactly the point that you just made of, you know, we put a lot of time, energy, and effort into these shows. And at the end of the day, they are the concepts of our minds and the structure of the show, the design of the show. And at the end of the day, it's a reflection on my direction of how the show is received. I mean, if the show is received well, if the show is received poorly, it's a reflection on me. So from an ownership standpoint, that's exactly it. It's a, you know, I have guided this ship, and I take ownership, and I am proud of what I'm putting out on stage, and having that recognition on there is just showing that this is a piece that I'm passionate about and that I have put a lot of energy into. And yeah, so.
Yeah, I think it's something I need to work on because it's a similar thing happened when early on at my job, I walked in to a meeting, and I was scheduled to have a meeting with my boss at the time that I walked in, and they were like wrapping up another meeting. And I said, you know, is it okay if I'm in here? Do you want me to wait outside? And, oh, no, have a seat. And everyone was introducing themselves to me, and my boss said, hey, Miranda, this is so-and-so, and she's one of the owners of the company. And I remember she said, thank you for saying that, because so I didn't have to, because it just feels weird. And it's like, why do women do that? It's an interesting thing, but yeah, just something I'm putting in my back pocket of like, we'll unpack that later and figure out what's going on there.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, it is such a reflection. The heart and soul that you put into all these productions, it's a reflection on you, and you get to own that. And there's a piece of me that feels very rewarded by the fact that my name is there and is present on the poster or in the art, because it shows that the material and the support and all of the pieces that came together at the end of the day came together because of leadership and ownership of that material.
Right.
So, yeah, I really love that perspective. Yeah.
There was something fun about hiding in plain sight, though.
That's also very fair.
I'm also like just a short person. Like so people just kind of like. I don't stand out. I can just kind of weave through the crowd. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, now that we are at our 50th episode, what has been, I don't want to say your favorite episode, but the episode that you feel like you took the most from? That's a really tough question, I know.
The episode I think I took the most from was probably the episode about my senior year in high school. I think that was really important for me. And it also, like, when we deal with stuff now, like, that experience had shaped me in such a way that that's why I respond to things the way I do now. You know, right, wrong, or whatever. Like, that's part of who I am.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think it was really important for me to share that. I've always been, like, very passionate about, you know, equal opportunities and trying to do the right thing and advocating for I think it's just, I feel like it's rare that you get a teacher in the arts who is who checks out like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think normally people go into teaching the arts because they love it and it fills their cup and all those things.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that she didn't love parts of it, I'm sure she did, but it was a very almost unbelievable experience at times.
Mm-hmm.
What I went through, what we went through in that
Mm-hmm.
in that school.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say that on a lighter note,
Mm-hmm.
2 things. I learned some things about you. 1, the emu. I still think about that. I still think about the fact that you love emus.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things that has happened on this podcast is when you said, I saw a donkey the other day. Did I tell you that I saw a donkey? I'm like, no, you did not pick up the phone and call me to tell me you saw a donkey, but I wish you would have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. How about you?
So for me, I think those early episodes were really impactful and having those conversations similar to what you said. But I think the episodes that I took the most away from were the episodes when we started talking about the early shows. So the Grease and Grease, Heathers, Spring Awakening, those early years, for a couple reasons. That time in my life was such a unique time, and there was a lot of change going on. And what I kept feeling was that there was so much consistency in knowing that every summer, I was at college, but I knew every summer the consistent thing that I was going to have was working on a show.
Yeah.
And it was so rewarding to go through those shows again and just remember the really positive memories and experiences from that time. And, I think back on those times so frequently. And, I love the fact that we have those podcast episodes because it's a great way to go back and just reflect on those times again. So I'm really happy with those episodes. I have loved all of our interviews that we've been able to have on here. It's been such a great time getting to unpack things with people, especially with those early shows. We don't get an opportunity very often for like 1 hour of uninterrupted time to just talk with people.
Yeah, it's very rare.
Right. And to have this kind of set in stone and being like, great, we want to talk to, Abby, or we want to talk to, we talked to Daryl, we talked to all different groups of people from past shows, and just having those conversations is always so, so great. It's like taking a trip down memory lane every single time we do it.
It is really cool because as I've been going through like photos to pull thumbnails for the YouTube videos, it's like, I guess I'll say something sad in reference to being cool, but the point is like, we've experienced so much life throughout these shows, and I kind of like use the shows as benchmarks almost. So like, I was looking through Heather's photos, and I saw a picture of my childhood cats, and I was like, oh, right, that was the day that we had to put, Teddy down because she wasn't doing well. And then I rolled up to rehearsal that evening, and I think they say one of the ways to kind of make time slower as an adult is to have unique experiences and not just like stick to a routine, because if you stick to a routine, all your days blend together. And I feel like for me, these shows have helped break up that routine and like give me consistent goals throughout life. And like when I can't even fully explain the value of getting to come to a place with with these people, whatever cast it is, after, I've had the worst day or the worst month or year or whatever. And it's like you walk in here and like, it almost feels like you get to like take a break for 2 hours before you have to go back to life. So that is just, as I was going through, I was like, right, like all those crappy things happened, but Heather's also happened, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And even on those hard days, it's a great reminder of this process. It is seamless, stressful, but it's seamless. Like, you know, every show is almost consistent in the pattern that it is, but everyone brings its own unique circumstances and pieces to it, which is always, like you said, it breaks up the monotony at the end of the day.
The formula is the same.
Yes.
Variables are different.
Exactly. Very much so. Very, very much so.
But the formula is always the same.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we know what's got to get done, but there's always something that surprises us.
I was going to say one more thing that I've loved up to this point, and then I had one more final question for us before we wrap up this episode. The other thing I've really enjoyed is us going back through together to look at these shows, because we were so intricately involved, especially in those early days. But as we continue to go through this process, it's just been really great to go through these conversations and these shows with you again. And like, just it's so lighthearted most of the time, and it's just like I find myself laughing hysterically through this process, because we just have so many unique and wonderful experiences from these shows. So if I have to say anything from the past 50 episodes, it's just thank you for starting this and coming up with this idea and giving us this platform, because it has just been wonderful to this point.
Thank you for spending so many Saturdays with me just talking about stuff, because it's great, and I find myself now that when I see mistakes in our shows, rather than beating myself up over it, I'm like, that's going to make a great podcast story.
Yeah. Like the summer of 2029, when we get to that show, gosh, do we have a story to tell?
There have been times where you're like, Miranda, write that down, because we need to remember it for the podcast, because that was crazy.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and so I guess my last question, just a quick short answer. What show have we not discussed that you're looking forward to in the upcoming episodes?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. There's so much, like, just bananas stuff. Like, I think Into the Woods or Falsettos are the two that come to mind for me.
Okay.
How about you?
I'm really excited. We're not far off from it. I am looking forward to talking about the summer of August Osage County, because that process was just unbelievable, and I've got a lot of stories and a lot of feelings about it, and I just look forward to unpacking that one. But also, I mean, based off of how crazy last year was, I agree with you. I think when we get to summer 2025 on the podcast, listeners, it's going to be a wild time, because the party got started in March, and the party didn't stop until December. People
really overstayed their welcome at that party, including myself.
And you hosted.
I hosted, yeah. I needed to go to bed a while ago. I think we also need to do a dedicated podcast episode about the Joseph movie.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Because we watched that together. And I think there's some things we need to talk about.
I agree. I 100% agree. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
All right, everybody. Happy 50. Thanks for sticking with us. If you didn't listen to all episodes, go back and listen to some of the older ones, even if you weren't involved with that show.
Right. The next episode will be a test, so just make sure you go back and listen.
Get your number 2 pencils out.
Exactly.
Get ready.
Scantrons. Be ready.
God. All right.
Oh my gosh.
See you next time. And that's a wrap. Thanks for getting snarky with us. We'll see you later.
See you next time.